Hey, I'm Steve Eulis and welcome to another episode of All Fired Up. Today, we kick off our fall season. We're gonna do some of that comfort food kind of thing here. Tonight, we're gonna work on some meatloaf, a nice dry rub meatloaf where we'll use a blend of different spices. We're gonna top that with a wild mushroom burgundy wine sauce. We're also gonna do a French classic dish that we've turned a la Firefly style, meaning we're gonna do, in the a French dish is called tornadoes of beef rossini, which is traditionally made with beef tenderloin, and it's grilled, and then it's on a goose liver pate on a crouton served with a mushroom demi-glace. We're gonna do something a little different though. We're gonna do something with a tenderloin of beef, we're gonna grill it, we're gonna serve it on a mushroom duxelle, and we're gonna top it with a mushroom burgundy wine sauce also. We're gonna do some corn mashed potatoes, we're gonna do some grilled vegetables, and kick it off with some apple crisp. Today I have a very good friend of mine, Jim Noble. Jim, thanks for coming on the show today. Jim's a good friend of the family. He's been around, he comes to Fireflies all the time, and he's gonna assist me today in the show. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get rolling on the meatloaf. That takes a while to cook, although you know we have that magical oven here at Fireflies. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come on over to the grill, and we're gonna start sauteing up some of the vegetables. Jim, if you could pass me that little plate right there with the celery and the peppers. So what we're gonna do is we're heating up some of the oil. We're gonna get that nice and hot. Remember, when we're sauteing, we want that to sear the outside of the vegetables. So we're gonna throw in some onions, like so. And we're gonna throw in some celery and some peppers. And we're gonna saute those up for a couple of minutes. Only about 2 minutes. We want those vegetables, they're gonna continue to cook when they're in the meatloaf, like so. I'm gonna have Jim stir those up for just a second. The other thing what we're gonna do is we've got our beef stock over here, which we've made earlier. We're gonna heat that up to a boil for our mushroom burgundy wine sauce. We also have a roux. The roux, which I'm gonna go over with everyone right here, it's a thickening agent, and everyone can see this is equal amounts of fat and flour. Whether you use margarine, whether you use butter, whether you use chicken fat rendered down, this is a butter and flour roux, and it has the consistency of wet beach sand. When you're making a roux, that's the consistency that we need to have for those dishes, for the thickening of the different sauces. You cook that for about 5 to 7 minutes, get the rawness out of the flour, and that's good to go for the sauces that we're gonna make. Now that Jim's cooked that for a minute, we're gonna throw some garlic in there. Then we've got a dry rub. This is a blend of paprika and garlic and onion and pepper and different spices that we use here at Fireflies on a regular basis. Jim's gonna mix that up, stir that on in, like so. And we're gonna shut the flames off, and then Jim, let me see that for 1 second. Beautiful. And we're gonna bring that right on over here, where we're gonna put together that meatloaf. Now this meatloaf that we serve, it's made from ground chuck, which has a nice hearty beef flavor. It's an 80-20, meaning 80% beef, 20% fat that we use to give us the flavor. And we're gonna start throwing that together. Jim, if you can go over here, throw on those rubber gloves, on those latex gloves.
The expensive ones.
The expensive ones, very expensive ones, so that you don't, you'll be able to clean your hands later. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix, this is some diced French bread and some milk. And we're gonna crack a couple of eggs, like so. And I'm gonna beat those up, like this. Jim, do you like meatloaf? It's kind of an American tradition, isn't it? A meatloaf, you know, with potatoes. Hey, Ayrton, do we have those potatoes in the steamer?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So, we've got the eggs all beat up. So, Jim, you're gonna mix that up a little bit.
I thought I was gonna beat the eggs, Steve.
I'm sorry, but you know,
Mix this up,
you were a
okay.
little slow.
I'm sorry, the gloves were hard to get on.
There you go. All right, so now we got that. We're gonna throw those eggs right in there also. And we're gonna take our ground chuck. We gotta mix all that in there.
Good, yummy.
Some salt, a little pepper, then, of course, our vegetables that we made.
Hot stuff so I can do it in my hand.
Oh, no, you're going to spread it around there like so.
I see.
There you go. Enjoy, enjoy. And we're going to mix that up. A lot of different meatloafs are, you can mix this, you can make this same recipe with turkey, ground chicken. You can also make this a little spicy with a little Cajun spice, a little cayenne added into there. But this is a great home-style meatloaf with that dry rub adds some great sway. Now, as you can see, it's a little on the wet side.
Yep.
So we're gonna add a little bit of breadcrumbs to kind of tighten it up a little bit. Beautiful. That was wonderful, Jim.
Hey,
And what you're doing when you
Meatloaf
mix
is my
everything,
life.
meatloaf's your life. When we get what we're looking for, as you can see, how all of the vegetables are combined into that meatloaf. Then we've got a couple of pans right over here, Jim. Can fill up one. I don't know if you're gonna have enough to do two. We'll pop that right in the oven. After we top it with some ketchup or some chili sauce, whichever you prefer.
how about one ketchup, one chili?
You could, but you could, yeah. A little bit more. Now remember, when you bake this in the oven, you want to put a sheet pan on the bottom of the oven. Hamburger, 20% fat, is going to have some reduction in the fat is going to render on down. You're going to want to make sure you top that with some ketchup right over the top like so. That's beautiful. And this gives a nice crust, which you're going to see when it comes out. It also adds some nice flavor. And then we've got a short baby meatloaf. That's going to be for the kids, Jim. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
All right, the kids are going to have that meatloaf like so. Beautiful. And then we're going to pop that in a 350-degree oven. And it's going to take about how long, Ayrton? About a half an hour, 45 minutes. We're going to pop that in the oven down here. If you could do that, after you take your gloves off, I'm going to have Jim throw that in that convection oven down there. You have to get nice and clean. We're going to get started on the mushroom duck salad. Now this, we're going to go into right down in that oven down to the end, Jim. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this mushroom duck salad. And what that consists of, starting, is, hey, someone stole my French knives. You know, when you're working in a kitchen here and everyone's doing stuff, they come by and steal all my knives. So what we're going to do, we'll move those apples out of the way. We're going to cut some bacon real fine, like so. Oh, that's beautiful. And we're going to chop that up a little bit. I'm going to bring that right over and pop that in a hotel pan. And can I get a little chopped onion? We're going to come on over here. We're going to turn that on. Pop another saute pan here. We'll get this stuff out of the way. And we're going to pop that in. We're going to render that bacon down. I'm going to let Jim watch that bacon. Jim, we're going to let it render down, get crispy, the fat, in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to throw in some of this chopped onion, about half of that.
You want a spoon or should I use this?
I'll give you a spoon. We'll sew it over. And I'm going to start working on something else. You just give me a hollow and that bacon's chopped up. Rendered down. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start working on our corn mashed potatoes. Now, Ayrton, we've taken some bliss potatoes, right? And we have them steamed off. And how long until those are done? Boiled off?
Half an hour.
About a half an hour. They take about a half an hour. And we're going to make a traditional whipped potato. We're going to do it by hand. We're going to take these bliss potatoes. We're going to take a little butter, a little milk, a little salt, a little pepper, and some corn, creamed corn. Then we're going to mix into those potatoes, and we're going to add them right there. We'll show you how those are done. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on some grilled vegetables that are going to go along with this dish. And to get that all ready, we're going to cut up some of these vegetables. And we've done this on the show before, where we've grilled a lot of different items. Ron K, if you could get rid of that for me, that would be great. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the vegetables and we're going to brush them with a little bit of oil. And we're going to throw them right on the charbroiler. And we're going to cut them like so that they don't fall through the cracks. And it's going to give us a nice plate presentation also. And you can cut them any way you want. You can cut them in on the bias like so, have some wheels, You can cut them on more of a bias to give them a little bit more plate coverage, like so. And that's the way that we serve them at Fireflies. Now, folks, any of the recipes that you want from any of our shows, you can get them at aulis@aol.com, or you can contact us at www.firefliesbbq.com, and you can check us out there also. What we do here, we're going to do the same thing with the zucchini. We got some nice grilled vegetables on the bias. Like so. That was a beautiful vegetable. So we've got some onion, some pepper.
Those onions?
Those onions are good? Yep, let's take a look over here. As you can see, that's beautiful. Jim's got that rendered down the way that it should be. You can see, nice and crispy. We're going to throw half the amount of onions in there. That's great. Saute those up for a minute. And then we've got some chopped mushrooms. Oh, those are beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That's nice. Then we're going to throw in some minced, chopped up mushrooms. Just like that. And the best thing about that is if you're making a stuffed mushroom, use the caps for stuffing and chop up the stems. This works really, really well for that kind of a dish. Jim's gonna work on that. Can I get a little bit of flour, Ayrton? Oh, I got some right here, I'm sorry. I got some, yep. And then we need a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. A little salt. Now remember, mushrooms, 90% water. They have a lot of liquid in there. Sure. So we're going to want to cook those down and make sure that the pan is dry. And then what we're going to do, just like we did earlier, where we made a roux, we're actually doing the same thing with this mushroom, bacon, and onion combination. We're going to dust that with a little bit of flour. We're going to make a roux. We're going to have it cook for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to add some cream. And this is going to make kind of like a pate, and that's simple. That's what a mushroom duxelle is. So what do you think of that, Jim?
I knew that.
You knew that?
I knew that.
There you go. That's looking great. A couple more minutes.
Someday I'll learn how to do that.
That's it. Well, we'll teach you that. We'll teach you that. We'll have you on like training classes. A little bit of oil and a brush. That's looking good. Now you can see that's getting dry. See how there's hardly any liquid in there, Jim? That's good. What we're going to do now is we're going to dust it with a little bit of flour, like so. If you could mix that up for me. Oh, that's marvelous. This looks like you know what you're doing. Have you been doing this for a long time?
10 minutes.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to go over to a whisk. That's looking great. And we're going to cook this up just like we did on the roux for about 2 to 3 minutes. Just to get a little bit of the rawness out of there, we're going to give it a little bit more flour, like so. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. No, it's like you know what you were doing. You know?
It smells good.
It smells good. It smells good. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we've got some heavy cream. I'm going to add the heavy cream, and you're going to whisk that in.
Okay, let's whisk.
Let's whisk. Now, as you're going to see, it's going to form. There you go. See how it's getting pasty?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. It's kind of like a roux, kind of like I said, a pate. We'll add a little bit more. And you don't want to spill it all over. See how thick that's getting?
Right.
That's beautiful. Add a little bit more cream. That is marvelous. A little more. This is a very nice thing. Now, when you make this duxelle, you can take this, you can refrigerate it, you can put it out on a plate, and you can use it a couple of days from now. Understand, though, you're using cream, so your shelf life is probably about 3 to 4 days on this. This is a great way to take this little cream mixture and you add some breadcrumbs and a little bit of garlic, some cheese, some chopped parsley, and it's a great stuffing for the holidays coming up. That's it. So as you can see, that duxelle's getting beautiful.
So can I save this for our turkey and Thanksgiving? Or?
But of course.
Okay.
You gotta have some sweet potato pudding in there.
Absolutely.
That's it. All right, that's the way we want that duck style to look. We're gonna take a plate just like so. Move that out of here. That is beautiful. We're gonna check the seasoning. Ah, that's great.
Perfect. Right there.
Beautiful. We're gonna put that down just like this. And we're gonna spread that out. That is ready for our dish. Look at that, that's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna put that right up there. Right, actually, if you can get rid of that, I'm gonna need that whip back. That would be great. And Jim, if you come on over here, I'm gonna get you going on the grilled vegetables. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put you over here, and we're gonna take these vegetables and we're gonna pop them on the plate, and we're just gonna dab them with a little bit of oil, like so. And then we're gonna lay those on the vegetables. Barb, how am I doing on time?
Good, Steve.
Great, how much time do I got left?
15.
All right, we're right at the halfway mark. We're looking good. All right, so we've got these vegetables like so, and we've just put some olive oil on there. And you can do this with eggplant, zucchini. We've got some nice red onion over here. Cut some nice wedges like so. And this is just really about the freshest you're gonna get. Just a little bit of olive oil, a little salt and pepper. And Jim, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna go over to the grill with you, and I'm gonna lay them over there. Grab those tongs right there on that table. And then we're gonna pop them right over here like so. Now the peppers, they're a little heavier, a little hotter.
I'll be the official turnip.
You're gonna be the official turner. That's it.
Sounds good.
The onions like so. And a little zucchini.
Like I'm out in my backyard right now.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Now, we've got our veggies, and Jim knows what he's gonna do with those. When those are almost done, and I know what you know how to grill vegetables since you do it all the time.
Oh,
All right, you let me know and we'll season them up and we'll be ready to go.
sounds good.
We're gonna come back over here, and we're gonna throw together these vegetables. We're gonna get these out of the way. Right here. And we are gonna clear that up. I don't need any more flour, any more breadcrumb. We are good, and oil is good. Now we're gonna get rolling on the tornadoes of beef rossini. And let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Two ways that you can do this. You can go down to Shaw's, or you can go down to Price Chopper, or wherever you go. Or you can go to your favorite butcher. And this is tenderloin. This is the most tender cut of meat. It's also filet mignon. And as you can see, these are about 8-ounce fillets, and they're cut right from the center. And this is what you're looking for. You want to make sure that nice marbleization in there, and you want to make sure that that's the kind of steak that you do this dish with. On the end cuts of the triangle, that's where you would do so more with the for sirloin tips and that kind of stuff. You're going to season that up with a little dry rub or a little salt and pepper. We're going to cook them off. We're going to have the meatloaf coming out of the oven. We're going to throw together the whipped potatoes and the apple crisp. We'll plate everything up, and we'll be back with all fired up in just a few minutes. I'm Steve Eulis, and thanks for joining us. Hey, I'm Steve Eulis. Welcome back. We're going to finish up the show, and look what just came out of the oven, and we let it rest. That's a beautiful meatloaf that we just yanked out of that oven. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it right over here. And of course I know Barbara likes the end, so I'm gonna save her that end. And then I'm gonna cut a couple of nice slices of that meatloaf, like so. You can see all the vegetables in there and the nice glaze over the top, like so. And then we're gonna show you how we're gonna plate all this up in just a couple of minutes. What we need to get done though, is we need to get rolling on those beef tenderloins that I've got Jim working on. So I've got a little bit of dry rub. Sprinkle it on those. You're going to cook those to medium rare right on that char broiler. And then what we need, Ayatin, coming over to you. What we need is we need to make a couple of croutons. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a glass, something round, and we're going to pop out of just some regular white bread, a little crouton, just like so. And we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to trim so we've got more of a symmetrical crouton like so. We're going to take a little bit of that olive oil and we're going to brush that like so. Then I'm gonna get Ayrton over there on my corn whipped potatoes. He's got them already made. I don't need them yet though, buddy. And we're gonna grill these little croutons. We're gonna dump them in a little bit of dry rub. But I'm gonna have Ayrton throw together the apple crisp. We're gonna go over here with him. You're gonna just grill those, Jimmy, right on the grill until they're golden brown. We're gonna walk over here. And I'm gonna talk about apple crisp. We've got this other section right here ready to go. And we've got a big bowl. And what we're gonna do, we are gonna take, oh, she's got our apples. Thank you, Becca. Becca is one of my waitresses. And she's wonderful. So we've got our Cortland apples. We've used Cortland apples here, which are the best for baking. They really are. They're great sweet, they're tart, and they really, really do a nice job. What we're gonna do though, is we're gonna take the apples with the flour back, right? No? Tell me what I'm doing here. Milk. We got some milk we're throwing in there. Then we're making a big batch. We're making it for the restaurant. And we're gonna take some sugar and some water. And we're gonna pop that all in there with the apples like so. And the milk. And we got that. And we're gonna toss these all up like so. Then, in a separate bowl, we're gonna make our crumb topping. And that's it. And you know, everyone does it differently. They do all different kinds of stuff. But what I do here is I take oats, like so, and walnuts, and cinnamon, of course, and butter, which has been melted. And, believe it or not, I use butterscotch pudding. That's what that is. And I mix that in there, and a little bit of salt. And then we mix it all up. Right, Beck? Beck does all my baking here. She's awesome. We bake this up like so. The flour goes in there too? You sure? And we gotta throw in some flour. Oh, that's nice. And you can see that's a nice crumble topping. It's crumbing up nice. And then what we do, we throw in the brown sugar in these apples over here though. Forgot the brown sugar, guys. I can make a mistake every now and then too, you know. And inside the topping, inside the apples is also brown sugar. We mix that up like so. And that's beautiful. Then we need a Pam sprayed hotel pan, which is right over here. Jim, want to come over here for 1 second? Spray this for me. Spray that on down.
Beautiful. Here?
Yep. And we're going to put some apples in here. How about a spoon, guys? Spoon. Thank you, Barbara. Thanks, Beck. We're going to put the apples right in that pan, and then we're going to top the crumbs, topping right on top, Jim, like so. I'm going to have you do that, and I'm going to go over and finish that gravy. You can watch Jim like that for 1 second. Jim's going to fill that up, thank you. And then we're going to top it with the crumb top. We're going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. And then when it comes out, we're going to show you what it looks like. Stay on there, Jim.
Very exciting stuff.
All right, it's gravy time. Come on back, Polly. All right, very simple. We made that roux earlier. We've got those steaks. Look at how beautiful those tenderloins are. They're absolutely gorgeous. We've got our roux. I need that wire whisk back, please, Ayrton. And we've got that tenderloin, which is right here. We've got our beef stock that's good to go. And we've got our roux. We're going to thicken that up with a little bit of roux. And we whisk that roux right into that sauce. Then, Jim, there's a bottle of Grove Street Merlot over on that table. If you could pass that on over to me, that would be great. There you go. There you go. And when you're thickening with a roux, you need to make sure that you bring that stock to a boil. We're going to add some Burgundy wine, Merlot. We're gonna thicken it a little bit more with some more roux, like so. If you can pass me those sliced mushrooms, Jim, that'd be wonderful. Ah, that's great. Finish it off with some mushrooms. That's gonna literally take about 2 minutes. Jim, if you can watch that for me, stir it around and we're gonna start plating everything up. We're gonna bring the veggies on over. The meatloaf, the corn with potatoes. Here we go. On the tornadoes of beef rossini. Number one, we pop the tenderloin right down on the plate. We take a little bit of that mushroom duxelle and spread that on those croutons.
Smelling good.
That is
Steve.
awesome. We take the tenderloin of beef. Whoa, runaway tenderloin. We pop that right on top like so. On our other platter, for our meatloaf, we're gonna take, I need a spoon right there, Polly. I got it, excuse me. We're gonna take our corn whipped potatoes. We're gonna pop that right in the middle of that platter. Again, bliss potatoes, cream, salt. We're gonna then take some of that meatloaf. And we're gonna lay it right across the top like so. Beautiful. We're then gonna take some of those delicious grilled vegetables and we're gonna lay those around that platter. A little bit of onion, like so. In fact, if you can get that apple crisp ready for me to set up over there, that would be great. Beautiful. Pop that out of the way. So we've got our meatloaf. Jim, I'll take that gravy. Our tornadoes of beef. I'll take that pot right over. I'll grab it. Ah. And we're gonna take that, we're gonna top that just like so with that mushroom gravy. And the beautiful thing about that mushroom gravy is that it's great for both dishes. Awesome. We got 1 minute left. We're coming over to finish up that apple crisp. It's out of the oven. Look at that. Look at that apple crisp. Unbelievable. We're gonna take the apple crisp. We're gonna put it in a casserole. That is absolutely unbelievable. We're gonna take,
crisp guy knew.
that's it. We're gonna take some vanilla ice cream.
Oh,
right
yummy.
like that.
Oh,
Some whipped cream. How about some cinnamon, Beck?
Oh, yeah.
Right? A couple of spoons. And we're gonna pop that up with a little bit more of cinnamon.
Whoa.
I'm Steve Eulis with All Fired Up. Thanks for seeing us.
Every day we throw away tons of trash that could easily be recycled. Every week in Massachusetts, we throw out almost 1 million newspapers. We use more than 9,000 plastic bottles every minute.
But only about 25% of them are recycled.
Some people think recycling takes too much time or it's too hard. This is going to be our world soon.
Help us take care of it.
Recycle
It's one place where a little effort
can make a big difference.
I'm Marty Meehan. The terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon on September 11th was a direct attack on our nation's citizens and our military. Now the men and women in our armed forces are being called upon to defend our great nation. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, I know these service members understand better than most that freedom has a cost. Let's show them we appreciate their service by continuing to fly your American flag or tie a patriotic ribbon outside your business or home.